Aloha all, this is Doug Davis with Karandi Realty, broker in charge, and another session of Ask Doug. So today I wanted to talk about disclosure. What do I have to disclose? Do I have to tell them? Do we really have to ask this? But let me read what disclosure, what we have to do, what we're obligated to do. It's for residential real property and includes the sale of condos, co-ops, single-family homes, townhomes, and vacant land. Vacant land has been added fairly recently. And you must disclose in writing to a buyer material facts. And material facts are definable as any fact, defect, or condition, past or present, that would be expected to measurably affect the value to a reasonable person of residential real estate being offered for sale. So measurably affect, but they don't define how many dollars that it is. Is it $1? Is it 1,000? Is it $10,000 or way more? So material fact, defect or condition, past or present. So interestingly, there are a couple of omissions. You do not, number one, you do not have to disclose that someone had AIDS in the property. That's federally omitted. And then listen to this one. I have to read it verbatim. The residential property was the site of an act or occurrence that had no effect on the physical structure or the physical environment of the property. So what do you think that means? The residential property was the site of an act or occurrence that had no effect on the physical structure or physical environment of the property. Well, is that a euphemism for someone who died? So you don't have to disclose that someone died? Well, I don't know. It's evidently excluded by law, but I think there'd be a lot of people that would like to know. There are ethnic groups that are more interested in that than others. So anyway, that's an interesting aside. Okay, so in Hawaii, we have a standard form, the seller's real property disclosure statement, and the sellers have an opportunity to fill it in and add all the things that a buyer may want to know. Some of it's just fill in the blanks, but there's a whole page where you can freeform about whatever it is that you want to disclose. So it's a seller's get out of jail free card. So you don't want to have the neighbors telling the new buyer that just moved in something about the property. So that's your get out of jail free cards. Now's the time to do it. And if they don't want to buy it, don't let them buy it. So what else is there? You must disclose lead paint. That's a federal. What about ghosts? Really? Ghosts? Did you ever see the movie Poltergeist? That was a bad place to build. Some people want to know about that. Pest? That's a good one. Termite, structural damage, drainage issues, floods, neighbor disputes. That's interesting. Boundary issues. And then, there's all sorts of things that we now can find out that are not so obvious. But think about this. What about things like slide zones, volcano zones, earthquake fault lines, tsunami zones, sea level rising zones? There's likely now to be an internet site that will demonstrate, show different aspects of these different things. So for like sea level rise, you can put in 1 foot and see what happens. You can put in 3 feet, you can put in 10 feet, and you can see the land disappearing and going underwater. You know, in Hawaii, we've had various slide zones: Moanalua Valley, Manoa Valley, Lahaina, Kuli'o'o. And these were a long time ago, like back in the 80s. And a lot of people won't remember that. But, you know, those areas are still moving slightly, very small amount. So one would need to know that, you know, a lot of our construction in Hawaii is, shall I say, floating. The home is not anchored to anything other than the topsoil. It's not down to bedrock. Very, very rare that your home is anchored to bedrock. So it's just sitting on top of the soil. So if your soil moves, your house moves. So that's why we have so many doors and cupboards that need adjustments all the time. You know, maybe every 10 years, something like that. That's why you see after rains, walls that fall over. I see that all the time. And that's from the wall moving over 10, 20 years, and then a rain will help dislodge it. So that's kind of it. I've had all sorts of interesting disclosures, but again, mostly it's fill in the blank. Have you had leaks from above, from sideways through your windows? Things about the home, appliances, that sort of thing, which are somewhat minor, but if in doubt, disclose and get out of trouble. So anyway, I hope that opens your eyes a little bit about what might need to be disclosed, especially the things that are not so obvious, like these websites that you can find out things about your neighborhood. How about like the San Francisco town built on a big mud flat, and then they have the earthquake and shakes everything to smithereens. Freeways, homes, big problem. But you know, maybe you shouldn't build on no structural integrity to that. So anyway, eyes open, and hope that helps. And if you have questions, please let me know. Have a great day.